What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Connie G Show. My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? Um, Today is the 29th of December. It is Thursday, the 29th of December, 2022, the year of our Lord. And like I said, my name is Conrad, and thank you for stopping by the Connie G Show on Con Radio's YouTube page or on the Patreon, Con Radio Patreon, or maybe you just found the Connie G Show on iTunes and you're like, "Whoa, what's Con Radio?" Those are the things I just said. Um, and it also has, if you do find me on iTunes or Spotify on the Connie G Show, and you're like, "Is there other stuff on Con Radio?" Um, yeah, there is. There's those guys from Wichita is another program I've done for about I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and then before that it was called the Conrad and Jack Show, and that was like 4 years, 5 years, and then before that was the Connie G Show, again for another few years. So lots of years doing it. Not to say that that's helped me any. I can't say that there's like a definite um, payoff into doing it for a very long time, except for more and more people around you are like, "You're still doing that?" Like that's what you get a lot. People are like, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, I got to do the show." They're like, "You're still doing that, huh? Are you?" Okay. Wow. That's not what I thought you were gonna say. So, but that's what happens, dude. When you're a creator, um, I live in Oklahoma, Prague, Oklahoma. If you want to spell it, it's spelled Prague, but if you're in Oklahoma, it's pronounced Prague, and so they don't like it when you call it Prague either. Get that out of here. It's Prague. It ain't Prague. That's Europe. It's Prague. All right. So I live in Prague, Oklahoma. Beautiful, beautiful damn town. Lots of traffic. Just a tremendous amount of traffic for people that are trying to get to where they're going. And not stopping here. And I live right there on the thoroughfare of that traffic, right there where, if it's a decent evening, a decent morning, I can sit out there and just watch all the people drive by and not ever remember that they went through my life. This person's just driving. They left Tulsa and they're headed towards Reno, Nevada, and they just drove right through Prague, and I just get to sit there and watch them. That's a weird thing, but that's true. And in that town, I've carved out about a 16th of an acre, maybe even a little bit less than that. And I put my studio, the one I'm sitting in right now, it's in a storage shed, a she shed. You could say it's a she shed. It's a he shed, she shed, like Limp Bizkit said. But I put a she shed back here and said, I'm gonna do all my monkey business out there in the she shed for the show. And so that's what I do. But on my way out to the shed tonight, when, like, for whatever reason, when somebody will. You ever notice people that are wearing way too much perfume or cologne? Um, and right now it's got a little bit of heaviness, like, I don't know if it's humidity, but when the air feels kind of thick, kind of like you could just jar it and use it as like a jam, air jam that you could just put on bread, like you can almost eat the air. And I don't know if it's pollution or they sprayed like the fluoride or whatever, like they sprayed the chemtrails or something, and it's takes a while for it to get down into our breathable area. But those thick days. There's just days that are thick, and it's thick out there right now. It's thicker than that. It's thicker than Mike and Molly, dude. It's thick. And so when somebody wears perfume or cologne, you can smell it because it hangs. This is the kind of weather that if you fart, you're got to run away from it. You know what I mean? The fart won't leave you. You got to leave it. That's what the weather is right now. And as I was walking out to the shed, I noticed that there was just you don't want to say, I guess you can say pungent, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad smell. It's just so overwhelming that it made it. It's too much. And it was as if somebody had just dumped perfume or cologne on them. And it smelled a little bit sweeter than a cologne. It didn't have you know how Tim McGraw makes his cologne, okay? That spicy. It didn't have that spicy nutmeg in it. This was just a sweetness, a nectar to it. And so you look around, like, is there a beautiful woman hiding under my deck, other than the one that's dying under there? Oh, I'm sorry. That's a joke about abducting a woman and keeping her under my deck. First time I've made it, so let that sink in. I'm gonna let it sink in on my part too. Do I feel comfortable with it? Did I go too far? And as far as I know, there's no women that like me. Well, I guess that person wouldn't like me. There's no women that are trying to put perfume on to impress me. And if there is one, I don't know about them. And I thought, so I'm looking around, is there some sort of young lady in my backyard right now? And I didn't turn a light on or a floodlight or anything, so it still could be, but as I'm walking the shed, you smell it. Then you think the second thought that triggers inside your old brain is it laundry? Because that's what I think it is. Sometimes people will, the Downey people of the world, the Downey syndrome people of the world, they will put too much. You're only supposed to use just a little bit of fabric softener to when you're washing skid marks out of your frickin' underwear and and you're trying to get those skid marks to just smell better, you just use a little bit of fabric softener. But some people will, those people too, and you smell, the whole neighborhood smells of their laundry. And I don't wear a lot of cologne. I don't know if that's what it is. It's either cologne, perfume, or a laundry, but it was thick in the air on the way out here. You could almost choke on it. And so that's something I don't do very often. Like every once in a while after a shower, if I have a good shower, I'll put on some deodorant and I'm just saying every once in a while, I'll put on a little bit of cologne, like a little spritz. I like to put it I put it usually on my chest, just one spray. And I'm not one of them homos that shoots it in the air and walks through it. If I ever do that, there better be a fucking guillotine on the other side that chops my head off. You know what I mean? I'm not misting cologne in the air and walking through it like, ooh, look at me. That's not happening, dude. So I hit my chest hair, just right there, burn that. I got a little, just a tiny bit of chest hair, and I'll burn that off, right there. And I've been running with Nautica. It's a very blue cologne, and then I'll put a shirt on or even a hoodie on over it. I feel like that is a filter, so the goodness is in there, and then it works its way out as the evening wears on after a shower. And I'm okay with that, dude, but to be honest with you, that's few and that's rare. I don't think you're going to find a lot of people that are interacting with me on a day-to-day basis that are going to be like, yeah, Conrad smells good. That's not going to happen. I don't think I smell bad, but I might. I very well might. But I know that people aren't going to be like, he's trying too hard to smell good. That's never. It might have been the case in high school or even late middle school. My senior year of middle school, I was rocking the frosted tips and the puka shell necklaces and the, curve cologne. There might be some people that want to be like, God, what's that guy doing? Selling used Kias? Is this guy a middle schooler or a used Kia salesman? But I went through that used Kia phase for a little bit. Luckily my jeans never changed. I didn't get into the Jinkos or anything. It was always pretty standard jean fare. Stylish. I like a nice cut, nice boot cut. Um, but shit, I'll rock a skinny jean. I don't care. And now I don't care. I think you get older and you just realize everybody's locked in their same world or their own world, and nobody's paying attention to anything. And if you are, you're driving yourself crazy, and like I do, you're looking around, being like, "What's going on over here?" And it helps, but you just drive yourself crazy because they don't care. Um, so I don't know. The biggest thing I'm going through right now is I woke. Well, actually, yesterday I came home from the taco shop and I had Jonah with me. He had come by for lunch and then stuck around to help out or hang out. And so we got home and we ate a burrito and taco like we do every day. Um, and we've been watching this show on Netflix called Rust to Riches. It's a car renovation show. And I don't like it really. I mean, I don't really like the vehicles that they build, and it's like this weird deal where they're trading cars. So they might get a Volkswagen Bug, and then they're gonna fix it up. And when they get it fixed up, they know a guy who has a Hemi Cuda, and but that guy wants a Volkswagen Bug, and so they trade the Bug for the Hemi Cuda. Then they fix it up, and they know of somebody else that wants a Hemi Cuda, but they have a Shelby Cobra, and they're gonna trade it straight up for it's just all these trading and swapping, and none of it makes any damn sense. But my son really enjoys it, and I like it also. But I like it. I like it that he likes it. I like it that that's something that we can talk about. When it's not on, he'll come up to, and I like that my son remembers everybody's name. You know, hey Dad, Mark was talking on the show the other day, and it's just the guy that owns Gotham Garage. There's a lot of it I don't like. A lot of it makes my skin crawl, but they also have this woman that's on the show, and it's really smart. And like it's really smart. She's in almost every scene, and she wears just the most unbelievably tight outfits. I mean, tank tops and tight jeans, incredibly tight on all of it. And she's got gigantic knockers on her, and brunette and ponytailed, but you spend the first season being like, does this woman work on the stuff, or is she just holding a wrench and leaning over the car so we can get a picture of her butt as men and be like, I guess I'll watch this? Because I remember when there used to be a show called like with Chip Foose where what he would do is he hired this homosexual fella and then this really hot chick. And what they do is like go slash somebody's tire, and then the guy would come out like, "Hey, why'd you cut my tire on my '65 Mustang?" And like, "Well, sorry, your Mustang was involved in a high-speed chase, and we got to tow it away." And it's like all fake and staged. And the hot chick never did anything. She'd just come in and be like, and it was enough to get people to watch. Well, Gotham Garage realized if we just hire one water-headed hot chick. Hopefully she knows about cars. Maybe she does, but maybe she doesn't. It doesn't matter. People will watch. And that's true. And I watch it, and I think my son likes it for the same reason, but we haven't talked about that because he's too young. He's 10, I think. Which is crazy. I got a big booger. I got to blow my nose. I do this every time. I'm sorry. Oh, this time I will use this. Blow my nose here. Yep. Oh, there's more in there. Hold on a second. Sometimes you just gotta get your nose. Oh boy. I'm gonna have a lot more freedom with my vocabulary if I'm not trying to hold that little hanger on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, anyways, yeah, like I was saying, we've been watching a lot of that. So we finished that up, and they were building. It doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. It's a show on Netflix if you want to watch Rust to Riches. And kids go to bed. I go lay down. For whatever reason, I lost a day this week, and last night I found it. But I'd been going around telling people all day it was Thursday, and it wasn't, as you guys know, dude. It was definitely Wednesday. But that doesn't happen to me very often, but during the holiday season, sometimes it will. So I just kept telling people it's Thursday, and it was even at one point in no uncertain terms was told to me, no, it's Wednesday. And my brain was like, oh, shit, it is Wednesday. And then it went right back to thinking it's Thursday. So I go take a shower and get my jammies on, and I lay down in my bed, and I put my hands up, and I'm looking at the TV, with my head up and on my hands on the foot of the bed, and I'm looking for my OU game because they're playing in the Cheez-It Bowl on Thursday. I can't find it. I was like, God dang it, I wanted to watch that. I can't find it. And I searched for it, and there it was. I'm like, let me watch it. And they're like, you can't. It hasn't happened. I'm like, it's bullshit. And I realized, oh, yeah, it's Thursday. And today's Wednesday. And now it is Thursday. So today is tomorrow's yesterday or something like that. So, no big deal. I think I turned on I don't remember what we watched. Maybe a little bit of Joe List. We watched maybe some stand-up or something and then kind of crashed out. But actually, I was watching a little bit of football, the Texas Tech game, bowl game, and then was going to crash out. But my wife got the Thunder Gun out. And actually, no, she just rubbed me with her arms and her hands. And she didn't even Thunder Gun me. That's my problem. Well, what I was going to say is when I put my jammies on, for whatever reason, I guess my feet must have been cold. I put socks on. And when I'll do the move with the socks where I'll stick a toe into the collar of the sock and kind of push it around the heel of the foot and slide that sock down, right? And so with my left foot, I stuck it into the collar of my sock on my right foot, and I pulled it down. No problem. I've done this. I got 2 feet, 2 legs, and I'm like almost 40 years old, and I've taken my socks off at least once a day, but maybe even twice a day for every day for, 35 years. I've taken them off this way with my toe. So I'm freaking good at it. Like, it's something that I'm really good at. And so I go left foot, pull the right sock off my foot. It's hanging. And I know what you're thinking, ladies, but you said that you were laying on your stomach with your head on your hands, which means your feet, your little footsies, are on your pillow. They're on my own pillow. You're right. I like to have my naked feet touch my pillow before I go to sleep. I like to rub my feet into where my face will be. And don't worry, my feet are clean. I just got out of the shower, and my feet don't get stinky. I'm blessed with 0 pores in my feet. They're smooth. There's no hair. I don't have Robin Williams' feet or anything like that. His look like shit, by the way, now. Decayed. That's a dead person joke. So, when I go over right foot into left foot, I'm doing it right now underneath the table. I have little running shoes on, but I can still feel it. The whole outside of my left heel to the middle of my foot, so the whole outer, I don't know if I can draw it for you. So you have the bottom of your foot, right? And then you have your top of your foot, and then I'm talking about the side part. So it's like an inch or however thick your foot is, that side issue of the foot, The whole outside of my left foot is like numb, completely numb. Um, and I guess I can feel it, but not really. It's kind of like when you go to the dentist and they numb you up. You can feel their fingers in your butt, but you don't understand why they're there. No, you can feel their fingers in your mouth, but they're like, "You're numbed up, right?" And it's like, "I guess I am, but I still somehow know your fingers in there, and now you're going to put a drill inside of me?" So I didn't drill my foot or anything. I just don't know why it's so damn numb on the outside of it. And that's concerning, dude. Sometimes you just get stuff that happens to your body, and you just got to roll with it for a while and kind of remember it, be like, huh, that's odd. And then the next time it happens, like, oh, that happened that one time. And then people are always like, well, what'd you do then? And be like, nothing. I just kind of noticed it. So I'm putting that on blast right now. The outside of my foot is numb. I don't think it's diabetes. I don't eat sugar, and I feel like I'm staying as good a shape as I'm gonna be in, probably. And it could be overuse, maybe. Could be the fact that I ran and I'll go run in this cold weather. It could have been a frostbite, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. But you get weird shit that happens, dude. Here's something. I've been having sinus issues. And I don't know if over the holidays, I think I come down with a little bit of a cold, but then I went ahead and did some extra running to try to run the cold out of me, sweat it out, And it worked. Thanks. But here's the situation I've been getting into. I can be breathing like a damn I'm getting it all. I'm breathing good. I got like high school lungs and everything. There's no, how when your sinuses get all swollen inside there and you can't get any air in there, but you don't got no more boogers left or something. None of that's happening to me. I'm talking about just breathing. But not even that bad. Like clearly breathing good, and nothing's even impeding anything. And I'm laying there watching my shows, and then I go to sleep like that. And then at some point throughout the night, I'll wake up and like my whole nose and stuff is filled with boogers, filled with like water that has dried up and balled up inside of my nose. And so I start doing this number, and you're just rolling little balls of chunky booger, like a peanut butter, like a chunky booger peanut butter. And so here's something. So I was driving to the taco shop, doing this number, pulling out little balls of old brain water, old booger, and it got to a point where I was like, what the hell? And I pulled, and I got it right there. I'm on it. I'm actually on it. Nose hair, buddy. My nose hair is so long on this nostril that I can actually grab it. Like, I feel like I could almost, if I was smaller, I could climb up into my own nostril with this son of a bitch. And it's strong. And I tried to pull on it. I don't think I can do it live. Oh, no. Oh, I got it. Look how long this sucker is. I'll put it right to the camera. Oh, yeah. This is for the YouTube people. You got to watch on YouTube. Oh, man. And I can breathe. So this little booger was in there, and I grabbed it, and then I realized, that's not a booger at all. That's a nose hair. And so what you have to do is get enough. It's almost like being a mason, a booger mason, where you have to then press the hair back into your nose and then mush it to the wall of your nose with some more flexible booger issue. Can't use the crusties because they'll fall right out. Kind of just got to spackle the hair in there and be like, I'll just have to breathe around that booger for the rest of the day. I'm hiding that hair. So I figured it out. Shit, I might have fixed the problem. And by the way, my foot's not numb anymore. It was all the hair. uh, you just deal with stuff as you get older. So, here's something I heard on a different program. Well, first off, our program is brought to you by Diamond CBD. Diamond CBD is a retail store that sells CBD wholesale directly to you, the customer. And they're always doing sales. Every time you go to their site, they want to give you free drug. And all you have to do is buy drug from Diamond CBD, and I get credit for it. And you're like, how does that work? Well, it works this way, bucko. You go to oktacocompany.com, or even better, go to thewaterhead.com. And there's a little logo that says Diamond CBD. Click on it. Boom. Drug world. And you're in drug heaven. Pick out your drug. Take your drug. When you buy your drug, it doesn't cost you any more. In fact, it costs you less. It's the cheapest drug you'll ever buy. And it also will give me money. So, think about it next time you're like, ooh, I need drug. Buy it from me. Diamond CBD. So, the program I was listening to does not have an affiliate with Diamond CBD, but they had mentioned that there's like this. Everybody knows about Area 51. Do you? Everybody knows about Area 51. And it's where there's like top secret stuff in the desert with aliens, right? But you got to remember, everything west of Oklahoma before you get to California is basically discarded country. Nobody cares about what happens in New Mexico. Nobody in Utah, nobody's ever worried about somebody from Utah. Nobody's ever been like, oh, my cousin lives in Utah, I should go help him. Once you go to Utah or you're in the desert. You know, that's where shit happens. That's where people are strapping rockets to cars and nobody cares. I mean, there's salt flats, all this stuff. But the military realized that it can set up shop. It can buy significant acreage out in the western part of the United States and do whatever it wants to do out there because nobody lives there. It's just it's undocumented. It's it's uninhabitable. You know, it's a desert. And so I guess I don't know the numbers because I'm not a frickin' nerd, but in New Mexico they bought this acreage and they have like a 10-year or maybe a 20-year contract to they're building a underground nuclear bomb, I guess, testing zone and safe house. So I think they're firing nuclear bombs into New Mexico in the desert, and they're monitoring the effects from this underground bunker that's like 2,000 feet underground. And then they have some sort of ridiculous budget of like $10 billion to build this thing or to see this program through. And as I was listening to it, I was just thinking, like, it is so crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it is so crazy that you have to spend so many billions and trillions of dollars to arm yourself as a country. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it's just so weird that it is that way still. Don't you think that that's strange? Because you think about, like, why are we doing it? You know, okay. Because you don't want to. Here's the deal. There's all these countries in the world, right? And you don't have to have a relationship. If you're America, You don't have to have a relationship with Lebanon. But if Lebanon sells the best bananas, and you call Lebanon and you say, "Hey, I heard you got great bananas over there. And how much are you guys selling those for?" And they're like, "We sell them a penny a pound, free shipping." And you're like, "That's great." And you say, "Well, can you send them to me?" They're like, "We'll never deal with you. Lebanon will never sell America the bananas." Well, America's like, "No big deal. I'll call their neighbor, and don't ask me what that is." And so you call the neighbor and you're like, "Hey, have you heard about these Lebanese bananas?" And they're like, "Yeah, we've heard about them. We have them." I'm like, "Really? Well, how much did you get them for?" I'm like, "A penny, a pound, free delivery." I'm like, "Well, can you sell them to us for 2 cents a pound?" And they're like, "That's great. We'll make a penny every pound." And I said, "Yeah, there you go. You're making just as much as Lebanon. Plus, we don't have to deal with them." And so there's workarounds, is what I mean. It's just, it's all a big negotiation. It's all a big trade. It's all a big handshake deal. And now that there's the technology to connect all these places, it's so weird for me to think that why would there be? Because what it used to be is you call Lebanon and say, "Can I get some of those bananas?" And they say no, and be like, "All right, I guess we'll bomb you and take your bananas, and now we'll own it, and then they'll be our bananas." We don't do anything that way, yet we still spend. Like, I don't know if that way of running the world is going to be what they're going to do in the future. I don't think you can just be like, um, this place has something that our country pays for. Our country doesn't want to pay for it anymore. So instead of paying for it, we're going to take it from them by taking over their country. And then we'll sell it to other people. In addition to having it for ourselves. I don't know if that's, but we still, maybe it is. And that's so weird that to me, that's weird. Like, it'd be like if you had a neighbor, right? And it's none of that. Everybody, if you had a neighbor and that neighbor was like, "Oh, I noticed you have Wi Fi." And I was like, "I do have Wi Fi." And they're like, "You have a pretty good signal at my house." And I'm like, "Yeah. Well, do you mind if can you give me your password?" And I'm like, "No." And then the next morning, they bomb me. They, some tiny little drone comes over my house, bombs me, and then takes my Wi Fi, takes my house, maybe then rents it back to me. You know, I don't know. It's so fucking weird to be like, "Yeah, let's spend $10 billion. How much is that?" And you start just doing the math, and like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. What's it for? Just in case money. It's just in case we have, it's just in case we have to do another nuclear bomb on somebody. Do we have those? Yeah, we got them. So why do we got to? Well, just so we can stay on top of the technology, get better bombs, better targeting, better. And it's like, but you're talking about getting better at killing people? Yeah, this is to kill. These are all to kill people. We're just spend this much money on trying to kill people? Yeah. Well, you got to, because they're going to come take your bananas. You got to get your money. You got to budget for it. You don't want to be one of those countries that doesn't have a military. What are you going to do? If you don't have a military, they'll come take what they want. And you're sitting there thinking like, "Yeah, but what do they want? Like, why wouldn't they would pay you for it?" I don't know. It's just strange to me that it doesn't matter. That's what's so weird. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what any of the why people have to fight over, why countries have to feel like they have to fight or spend this absurd amount of money to prepare to maybe fight someday. And it's like, fight what? Who? Why? Yeah, because they're trying to take our technology. It's like, no, they're not. I mean, it's out there, baby. They have it, so they can make it. Yeah, but they're trying to take our natural resource. What are you talking about? I don't know. And maybe they will. Maybe China will come over here, and that's what's so weird. Like, what's the point? I don't know what the point is. Say China takes over the United States, bombs us, we try to fight them, we don't win. They take over. We're all Chinese now. Um, and they're like, now you're Chinese, now you have to do these jobs and make this stuff. And it's like, okay, so we're all sitting around making iPhones and, Tesla batteries or whatever they have us doing, and using all of the country's natural resources to make these products. I'd be like, but who wants them? At some point you can stop a lot of this stuff by being like, I don't want any of this shit. Nobody wants this shit. So now what? But it's just weird. It's weird that people talk in monies and they talk in monies as if it's understandable or reasonable, and it's not. It's an unreasonable amount of money. And that's strange to me. That reason is gone. And the reason why. The reason why we're... Hold on. Excuse. Oh. Ah. How much does your country spend in war effort? Like, what the $100 trillion. Oh, wow. Now, do they do that actively? Are they killing out there? Are they doing some good killing on people? Or are they just protecting themselves? Like, Jesus Christ. Open the border, whatever, man. I don't know why every time I do this show, I get such a... I should just start doing it 20 minutes before I get out here. I won't have all these congestion issues. Ah. I need to do vocal warm-ups. I got so many boogers in me. Rappers call those tracksuits that they wear vocal warm-ups. That's a joke. It's not a very good one. I'm sorry, but I was... Jeez. You ever get a booger stuck in between your fingers? Gross. So, I was thinking about that today. I also got a text from my sister, the eldest of the girls. She has 3 girls and a baby boy. And over the holidays, over Christmas, like, we do gift exchange because there's 8 siblings. So we don't buy... I mean, sometimes everybody gets people something, and I never know what to do, and I suck at all of it, and whatever. But the funnest thing for me is my little nieces, because my brother-in-law and my sister make I think a pretty good living. They make a decent living, and they're both well educated and have good jobs. So the girls are kind of spoiled. They're all kind of spoiled, And they have, as far as materialistic toy stuff, they got it all. There's nothing you can buy them that they don't have. It's not to say that they won't like it if you get it for them on Christmas. They will definitely like it, but it will just go into the bucket of other shit when they get home, and they'll maybe play with it. Maybe it's their favorite toy for a week, and then it all just becomes just a bucket of toys and stuff, which is fine. And a lot of American families have that, and that's fine. But I stopped contributing to that bucket a long time ago. So it started with this. On a birthday of one of my nieces, I got her a piece of toast. I wrapped up a piece of toast for her, and it was funny because, all these yuppie couples with their, 1 kid or 2 babies, and they all come over and be like, oh my God, I love what you did with the party, and I like the fact that this is so great for the kids to just hang out and interact, and they all brought the same gift. You know what I mean? Everybody brings the same gift for a little girl. It's always going to be a Brat doll or a Barbie doll or a Barbie dream house, or it's always the same crap, a stuffed animal. It's the same over and over and over, And so, oh my God, I really hope your daughter likes the gift we got her. I think she's going to. I think she's going to. Yeah, no, really, Addison got one, and I was like, I don't know if she's ready for it, and she plays with it all the time. So I really hope your daughter likes it. And it's like, shut the. So in the middle of that, to watch my niece open up a piece of burnt toast from her uncle was hilarious. And she remembered it. So on Christmas, I'm sitting there, and um, I had stopped. I was running in Heston, and I don't feel bad about this because I have contributed to it. Um, the church that used to be by our house in Heston has a little box like in the parking lot where people will put canned goods and unperishable food items. And so I've put stuff in there before. So as I was running over Christmas break, I parked at that church, and then I ran back to my truck, and I was like, I'm gonna go look in that box and see what they got in there. And then you open it, and it's just random canned goods and random stuff for people that need it. But you're talking about a community where everybody does pretty well. There's not like this box would be great if you put it in Wichita, off of Kellogg on the Dugan exit. There's a lot of people that could use it there. This box is useless here. You're not helping anybody because nobody uses this box in Heston. And they just continue to give to it, which is sweet, but there are probably families that need it, and I get it. And one of those families was mine. I needed it. I was running. I didn't have any money, and so I said, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a few gifts out of this, you know. And so I open it up and I see what. Okay, so I grab a can of pears and I grab a can of pasta sauce and spaghetti noodles and a box of macaroni. And I put it in my Walmart sack, and it's off to Christmas. And so when everybody's opening presents and everybody's so kind and thoughtful, um, in regards to myself, my sister got me a great gift and got my wife a beautiful gift, and you know my the sister that has the kids, she had me in the gift exchange, and she got me a nice pair of running pants and stuff like that. So everybody's really thoughtful. And we don't do kids gifts for their children. You know what I mean? That's not, although we say let's not do it, but yet everybody does it. And so when they're opening up all their shit, and I can be like, hey, Brecken, come here. I got you something. And that was my toast girl. Um, she comes over, she's like, I don't want it. I don't want you to give me another piece of toast. So that made me smile. She remembered. That's the part that people aren't understanding about this is I get them something they remember because it doesn't matter. I said, I did not get you a piece of toast. Please come here. And then when she came over there, I handed her the noodles. And she's like, what is? I was like, it's spaghetti noodles. You'll have to cook them first. You can't eat them dry. And then she was mad again. I said, don't worry. Come back over here. And I handed her the sauce. I said, that's dinner. That's a spaghetti dinner. You're welcome. I love you. And she doesn't care. But then I called her younger sister, who's like 2 years old, Penn James. And Penn come over. And I handed her that can of pears. And she was happy. I got you this. It's a can of pears. They're halved already, so you don't even have to get your knife out. So I don't know. I recommend canned goods as gifts. If you guys are looking for something for people, it's a great gift. And the only reason I'm thinking about it right now is because I just got a text message that they're using my gifts for dinner tonight. So it's already great. It's already great. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. So in that show that I was talking about that we were watching with upgrading the cars, Rust to Riches, we're watching this, and the hot lady's on there distracting everybody like always. But they were required to build an electric vehicle. Um, and they're like, but we don't do that. We're all gasoline, whatever. Anyways, they did it because they're poor and they needed money. So they're building an electric Pinto, which is hilarious in a lot of ways. They're putting a Tesla battery pack and 2 Tesla engines to make an electric Pinto that can be a dragster for some overly wealthy man in racing that wants it. So I don't care about the build. I don't care about anything about it. But what I do care about is this. At the end, Mark was talking about his paint job that he put on there. And he said, I'd never seen paint like this before. And what he had done is he'd found this paint where it is called a luminescent paint, where it can connect to like a Bluetooth or something. You can actually change the color of the paint with the press of a button. That's witchcraft, dog. You're talking about laying down racing stripes that are white, but they're with an luminescent paint, and then when you hit a button, it will change the color of those stripes. And everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. And it's like, no, it doesn't. How? How does it work? But are there lights in it? No, there's not. And it's like, what the hell? There's only one other thing that's ever made me always sit around and question how it works. A luminescent paint is right there. It makes me believe that there's a glitch in the Matrix. Another thing that makes me think there's a glitch in the Matrix is this. Back when they had portable CD players, like Discmans, where you could put a CD in it and then strap this thing to your hip and have 12 in sync songs playing as you take your jog around the neighborhood. You could take that Discman and plug it. It had like the headphone jack. You could plug a tape into the headphone jack and then plug that tape into a tape player in your car. And somehow, and everybody was like, yeah, you just plug it. No, what you do you want to listen to your CD while you drive but don't have a CD player? And I'd be like, yes. Well, here's what you do. You buy this thing, plug it into your headphone jack, and plug the tape part. It had a cord to the tape. Plug that into your tape player, and it will play. And it's like, yeah, but that's not how tape works. Like, the music is on the tape, guys. I know, like, it would be like them, and when I say them, I'm talking about the people, the puppet masters that are controlling the Matrix. Hey, you can't fool me. The music's on the tape. It's like handing me a record for a record player that has a cord on it. And I can plug my MP3 player into the record, and then that record will play whatever's on my MP3 player. The needle reads the record player. The notes are in the grooves of the record. It's like, no, they're not. No. It's all made up. And your brain's just making you believe it, which is freaking crazy. So that's nuts to me that you can have a paint that changes color, even though it's not lights. I don't understand. I don't get how it works. It's almost like there's shit that we're like, I wish this could happen, and somebody hacked their way through the Matrix, and the Matrix was like, I guess you can, because there's no logical reason that how can you plug an MP3 player into a tape, hit play, and the tape plays your music? What? That is wild. I feel like we should have spent way more time on this, and in the sense of, guys, this is insane that this is working. And it's almost like that was this weird Band-Aid that went over, how when technology and time, it doesn't quite mash up, It's like, we have the ability to do things, and we don't know what we're doing with this technology. But we know it's the future. So there's these weird products that happen in between that are like Band-Aids that never should have worked. But they were. They did. Because it didn't matter. The whole thing was already over here. The little bridges. I don't know. Shit is weird to me, though. I'll tell you that. So, I was... When we were watching that show and they talked about the paint that lights up, I started thinking about that tape. Because that's how it works, isn't it? Isn't that how it works where the music is on the tape? Like the actual, there's tape inside of a tape. I don't know. I'm saying that word too much, but it's still very strange. There's, if you have a roll of film, there used to be rolls of film. The pictures were on the film. You could actually hold your eye up to the film and put it over light and see the photo, of undeveloped film. And I guess I imagined that the music was similarly placed upon otherwise why was there tape in there? I don't know. I'm going to have to talk about this on the show tomorrow. We will be doing those guys from Wichita tomorrow, so I will talk about it then, and maybe those guys can shine some light on it, but I don't think they're going to know either. It's very strange. It's a very strange thing that happens. So, anyways, I was going to see what else I wrote down on here. I have a notepad here. Oh, I wrote about the nuclear facilities. We talked about that. But, oh, it scared me. My wife's outside. I got my kids a dog for Christmas, or my wife a dog. Passionate about working at something else. Oh, I know what that idea was. I got my nose hair booger. Got my Illuminate paint and like a stereo. Yeah. So the only other thing I had really was I heard this story about this. I guess it's another glitch in the Matrix kinds of thing, where I heard this story about this guy who, for a certain amount of time, like 24-hour period, right, he was tasting blood in his mouth and barely being able to breathe, right? Just tasting it. And he didn't know what was wrong. He's a doctor, a well-educated psychiatrist, but didn't know what was going on. And then it went away. And then when it went away, he got a phone call from his brother who said that his dad had died. And his dad had lived on the other side of the United States. And his dad died of bleeding orally and then choking on the blood. And so this doctor wrote a book about these coincidences, a coincidental death or something like that, or coincidental happenings. And there's lots of stories like that where it's like you feel something or something. There's an energy in the world that's telling you that something's happening that you shouldn't be aware of, but it happens. And so I wrote it down. I don't know. I don't know where to go with it. I just thought it was really interesting because I've heard those stories before, and I was trying to think if it's ever happened to me. Like, have I ever got a feeling that's unexplainable, but then it's explained by some event? What's so weird is you can kind of manifest them. The only one I can think of is, I think that one time when I was dating Heather, I told her I could, I could read the future. You know what I mean? I could tell her the future, and on certain things, like I say, like sometimes things come to me. I think I was just bullshitting, right? Like you do when you're dating, you're just bullshitting. You're like, yeah, I can tell the future sometimes. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I mean, just sometimes I get a feeling. It's like, what do you say? I was like, well, like, okay, if I really let it in, if I let the energy in, I think there's going to be a plane crash. I said that. And then I'm pretty sure the next day, 9/11. No, pretty sure the next day. Now, did I plan 9/11? Okay. It's not that. I just mean there was a plane crash the next day, and then she married me because she's like, this guy knows the future. But no, there's a plane crash, and so that was a coincidental happening. But I don't know if I. I mean, I don't usually look for plane crashes, and there could be one every day. I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's just like the next day I looked for one, and there was one, and I was like, I told you, you know, that kind of deal. She's like, oh my God, that's insane. And that's how you fall in love, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you make. That's good flirting. Make something up, then prove yourself. Google yourself right. So, Um, yeah, we are going to be doing a show tomorrow. There is one more thing on my list, but I don't want to talk about it because I want to bring it up with those guys. I'll give you a hint though. Um, I think I found the greatest song. I think you know how I'm not going to use that example. I found what I think is the best song that black people put in movies. Um, that that's the most. That's what I'll say there. And then with the I got chocolate meatloaf put on here for some reason, and then I also have why is tuna so mushy. So we're gonna be putting that into the hopper. We'll be bringing that to tomorrow's show. Those guys from Wichita. So you guys are welcome to tune into that. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for subscribing to the Connie G Show. Thank you for subscribing to Con Radio's Patreon. Thank you for checking out the YouTube channel. Thank you for buying your drug through Diamond CBD. And thank you guys for um, practicing yoga a lot. Thank you guys for doing Bikram yoga and really getting into it and making it real creepy for everyone. So, with that being said, don't let your meatloaf. Have an okay day. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. I'll be back next week as always, whether I'm in a plow truck or out here in this beautiful studio. We'll see you then. And yeah, bye. Stay safe and effective out there.